Welcome back to the 52 Weeks to Wealth. My name is Walter Murillo. We've been traveling through these 52 weeks for 27 weeks. We are now on wealth principle number 27, which is steadiness of your faith. Now, if you're looking to become a millionaire, you want to get super rich, this is the call to be on. Hence, if you want to make more money this year, you want to double your income. Hell yeah. If you want to do it with less work, keep that hand up. Hence, if you want to do it with less work or almost no work. Man, what are we? Crazy? We must be lazy. They don't understand outside of this community that it is possible. The harder you work, the harder money runs away from you. The harder you chase money, the harder it runs. And so it's not about working hard. It's about working smart. It's not about working for long hours. It's working in the right task, doing the right things. And a lot of problems with the right things. We're here to build millionaires. Hands the camera again if you're committed to becoming a millionaire. If that is your goal. Excellent. If I said that in any other room, people would get freaked out. They say, no way, I don't want to be a millionaire. Money is evil. Who has heard money is evil? Root of all evil, right? It's not just evil. It's not just bad. It's like all the bad. It's the root. The truth is that money is just paper from trees. Now, people have told you before. Who's ever told you money doesn't grow on trees? You've heard this? It does. It actually does grow on trees. And then they print it where they put all these presidents on. The presidents aren't even alive anymore. Why are we revering these guys who are no longer in existence? They're not even running for campaign, and yet we're still promoting them. Hence, if you notice, that's kind of funny. It's a little strange. Yeah. All right. So that's how our government works. The idea behind steadiness of your faith and why it becomes so important at Wealth Principle 27 is because we've now tipped over halfway through the year of our wealth building process. Principles like think a million or build a business that can be worth $1 million are already in the past. Our marketing businesses, our 80-20 principle towards sales and marketing, those are in the past. And now we've gotten to a point where business is cranking along. Hence, if your business is cranking along more than it was at the beginning of the year. 26 wealth principles. Awesome. That is because you've taken massive action each week. Now, in this principle, we're going to take a lot of what you've already done and crunch it together into a focused layer, a laser beam. Hence, if you know, one of the wealth principles is hyper focus. It's coming up. It's still on the other half of this. Another one of the wealth principles is number 33, which is we build our business to sell our business and get rich. This principle is misunderstood by most people, not just outside of our community. Even within Alchemist Nation, there are still people who are like, but I don't know why I would sell my business. I want to keep it. It's because a business doesn't last forever. A business will eventually fall apart. Who here knows the average business lasts 7 years? It is a 7-year process for big boom bust. Businesses that last beyond that have already been sold and have new CEOs. If you look at the richest people on the planet, they have sold most of their business. When Bezos went and got his divorce, he only owned 17% or 19%. And then in the divorce, he lost 7% to his wife. In fact, Elon Musk owns less than 20% of Tesla. And there have been times where he owned even less than that. He just had some options where he could purchase more back. Hence, if you're aware that billionaires sold most of their businesses. In fact, when Elon sold Zip2, his first business, he only had $22 million from a $100 million sale. Actually, it was more than $100 million sale, but he only took away about $22 million from that sale because his ownership was significantly less. So I want you to keep in mind, as we're talking about steadfastness of faith, the goal is to sell the business at some point in the future. The goal is to let somebody else take on a lot of the responsibility, to bring on a lot of the capital, and to pay you out for the hard work that you've done over the years that you've been building your business. Steadfastness of faith. I want to refer back to how long this takes. It takes 3 to 5 years to become a millionaire. Hence, if you're committed to being it that long. Yes. Guess what? It takes 3 to 5 years. If you're already a millionaire, it takes 3 to 5 years to get to that deca-millionaire status, that 10 millions. For some of you, you're aiming at the 5, you're already at the 5. Now that takes time to go and double, but to go from 5 to 10, it only takes about 1 year. Hence, can't recognize we can double our net worth. It's very simple once you've done it. Once you've got to a certain point, doubling it is the same amount of work as doubling 2 million is the same amount of work as it has been to double 100,000. Has anybody ever struggled doubling 10,000? That seems to be the number where most people start realizing a little resistance, right? It's pretty easy to double $1, right? Just go get another dollar. Everybody seems to have those. But as you get a little more increased in income, increased in dollar amount, we start realizing there's a little bit of friction up here. It's not that the world is giving us friction. It's just that we're not properly moving through the world. Who knows, if you do the right thing the right way at the right time, you'll always get the right result. Hands in the camera if you know that's true. If you do the right thing, you might want to write this down. This was an affirmation for me for the last 10 years. I always do the right thing the right way at the right time. This was on my board in my office. I'd walk in, I had blue and green and black, and it would just pop out. Each one of the words was a different color so that I could see in my head that right was always green. Like when I looked at the board, it was right was always green. So do the right was green. Right? The right thing. It's not about doing things. It's not about being busy. I keep hearing people like, oh man, how have you been? You look so busy. And like the first thing I say to you is don't ever call me busy. Don't say that to me. Please. I'm productive. I'm extremely productive. A lot of things are going on around me because of me swirling around. You must be clear that this is not about busyness. This is about doing the right thing to get rich, to get wealthy, to buy real estate, to cash flow, to build your business, to buy businesses, right? To invest in things that are going to accumulate more net worth, more assets, more gains. Who here likes paying capital gains, right? Like I prefer capital gains over active income. Right? I don't like paying any taxes, but if I was going to pay a tax, it'd be capital gains. Hands can if you understand, it's way better, right? I'd rather pay passive income tax versus active income tax. There's a very, very different situation. So when I do a principle like steadiness of your faith, I'm very cautious about just jumping into it because a lot of people watch these calls outside of our community on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, and they're watching and saying, okay, what does faith have to do with becoming a millionaire? So I had to prelude a lot of this with technical skill. I told Dorena this morning, I said, I almost don't want to teach this principle to strangers because they're not going to grasp that this is how millionaires are built. It's up here, right? It's the mindset that we walk out into the world, that we communicate. By the way, we make our money from communication with other people. Everything that you want is in the hands of others, right? If you want to build a great business, Elon Musk, Tesla has 100,000 employees. He's not doing it alone. He had to go get a whole bunch of other able-bodied, able-minded people who had skills, who had resources, and who had the time to go and do the work that needs to be done. Hands can for catching this, right? You will need other people in order. The more money you want to make, the more people you're going to need. And there's a rule behind it. If you want to make $100,000, you can do that alone. Sure, I could show you how to do that. That's a little bit of doing a little more right stuff than you're doing right now, right? If you're only making 50,000, just do a little more right things, and you can actually get yourself to 100,000 pretty easily. To get to $250,000, that's about as high as I've ever seen a single individual producer get without starting to involve themselves with other people. $500,000 income, I'm talking income per year, requires a team. It does require bringing on 1 or 2 people to support, and sometimes more than that, to get you to that next level. The million, I don't know a single person who is actively earning $1 million a year who is doing it without a team of people around them. Hands to the camera if you've also noticed that. It seems like those high income earners have a team around them. And so there are some mindset skills that have to be acquired in order to level up to get to the next level, which is why at the 100 Millionaire Summit, my VIPs have requested an extra day of training for just team building, for just scaling up that business, creating culture. Like my high level players are talking about culture. They're talking about like, why is it that people come into work and they do a certain thing, act a certain way, speak a certain way? They're talking about culture, how to create an experience so that when an employee comes in, they work with the same passion as the owner. Hands to camera if you recognize that's the only way to scale is to create a culture. It's really about getting the building to train people to move in a certain way, getting the online dashboard they're working in to get them to move and think a certain way. The words that are said by the manager gets them thinking and moving in a certain way. So these are things that only the high level players actually need, because you can get to 100,000 or $250,000 by yourself. Hands can if we understand that's not enough. Hello, give yourselves a round of applause. We are in the right room. All right, steadiness of faith. Everything I'm telling you right now is to remind you that there's a process to this. Everything I just shared, that there are people making that money. There are people still doing it right now in a recession. There are people still investing and buying and building businesses and buying and building real estate right now in this time. And people are doing it even better and even easier. We're now investing in deals that we've never had access to before. By the way, becoming an accredited investor gives you access to deals that you've never had access to before. Many of the people in our community now have access to invest in investments that they didn't have previously because they weren't a millionaire. They weren't an accredited investor. Once you become accredited, you get open to things like syndications. You get open to any basic private business that a person is selling shares of. you now have access to. Hands can if you want access. That's why I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. I want more people to have access. And I also want access to their capital. When I got a sweet, smoking hot deal that I want a few more friends in, hence can't you recognize the more people you serve, the more people will be able to serve and help you when it comes down to doing a really cool deal. So think about that as you're going through your life. Can I help more people? Can I build more millionaires? Can I serve more? Every day you wake up, you're faced with yourself, the other side of yourself, that ego, the thing that you built over the years, who's protecting you, serving you, making sure that when your kids are crying, you just automatically go over, pick them up, or when you go to pour that bowl of cereal, like the milk just goes in the bowl. Like, how does that work? It's because your subconscious mind's always working back there. So don't get rid of the ego. We need that thing to operate, but we do have to train it a little bit to be a little more faithful, a little more steadfast in our goals, in our dreams, in our ambitions. When we go through a day, shit kind of happens. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes we don't want it to happen the way it happened because we're aiming so hard, we're pushing so hard, we're seeking a very specific goal. So for Steadiness of Faith, to get into this right, I want you to write down your goal on a piece of paper, just like we do exercises every single week so you can apply it and get it working for you. I'm going to walk you through the 5 steps of being more steadfast, of not giving up when things go a little sideways, when things get a little difficult. Hands at the camera if this would be valuable for you and your business right now. If you want to stay committed to doubling your income, you want to stay committed to doubling your net worth, awesome. This is a tool that I only obviously have the ability to give to you. Anybody who's not here on this call is missing out on this opportunity. There's only 47 of you. Fortunately, I do know that Facebook will put this out and about another 1,000 eyeballs will be on it. But that's, to me, just the beginning. I believe that your experience of this wealth principle, your moving forward in the world with this wealth principle will have an even greater impact than just me teaching it to you. Does that make sense? Other people will see your faith, will see your activities and what you produce by sticking to it. Excellent. So number 1 is a deepening of your understanding of what faith is. You have to have a true belief, a true gathering of knowledge around what faith actually is. Faith is the belief in something unseen. Who here's ever experienced fear? Has anybody ever been afraid of something? That is a manifestation of faith. You in your mind are like, shit could go wrong, right? And then like there's a chance. And then you feel like anxiety, you feel like sweating and nervousness. That is actual faith that things could go wrong. The more intense that emotion gets, the more real that faith gets. Has anybody ever felt that? Could you like feeling it right now? Remember, like, whoa, shit, I do remember that. That's pretty real. So shift that over to a state of another powerful form of faith, gratitude. When you know, like you just know for sure that it is yours, like thing in your life, the person in your life, the experience in your life, you own it. It's yours all the way. Nobody can ever take that away from you, right? Like this laptop or the cell phone right in front of you, right now, you're just like, I know this will be here 5 minutes from now, right? You have absolute faith in the device in front of you, right? You know that it's going to continue streaming. And if for whatever reason it stops streaming, you would be like mind blown. Like what happened? You know, is the internet company down? Did somebody unplug the router? Who needs to die right now? You will start a war over this stuff. And Scam, if you've ever freaked out when the internet went down in a moment that was so powerful for you. Absolutely. That's the power of faith, right? That's the power of knowing, like absolute knowledge that a thing is occurring for you. What I found with successful people is they just have this powerful faith. They have this powerful belief that who they are, what they're building is worth building. And so having this deep understanding of what it is, and that the next 4 are going to be really valuable now that you have grasped that there are emotions that you're already experiencing to have powerful, deep faith around it. Hence, Karen, if this is helpful, we're understanding now what faith actually is. Maybe a deeper understanding than we've ever had before. Simple stories go a long way. 2, develop deep convictions. The easiest way to say this is to have faith, to have deep faith means to have a deep conviction or belief that there are realities beyond what we can see, but they have been seen in our minds. If you've seen it in your mind, then it is a reality. The potentiality is there. The only thing you must do in order to manifest is reach out and take it. Now, that comes in the form of putting in offers. That comes in the form of conversations with other people. That comes in the form of taking action, getting off the couch, going and doing a thing. So if you've seen it in your mind, it is yours. Just like this remote that I use to make my screen a little fancier, a little brighter, a little darker. When I decide I want to make a change, I know it's capable. I pick up the remote action and I make a change. Hence, Karen, we saw that just now. We see that we can do things. So I manifested this remote because it was upstairs in my hotel, 7 floors up. And I wanted it before this call. So if I felt the lighting was off, I could change that. Now, I knew the remote was there. I had to go and take the action to change where it was to where I wanted it to be. We're catching this? Small example, but that's how everything works. So you must have an ability to see beyond our circumstances, our abilities and weaknesses, our tragedies, our regrets, our guilt, our shame from our past, and our fears about tomorrow. You must be able to develop a deep conviction that what you are fighting for, that what you are working for, that what you believe in is worthy, is for you, that you deserve it, that it's good for other people. Because a lot of people, again, think money is the root of all evil. No, money is just paper grown on trees that we printed dead presidents on who are not even running for campaign anymore. Hence, Camp, we agree. It's okay to have a lot of money because it is also potentiality, just like your ideas. The reason having a lot of money is super important is because as soon as you get a thing that you want, you will not want it anymore. And something else will creep up in its place. And so having money allows you to move through experiencing life a lot faster. This makes sense. Anybody ever notice that? You see it with your kids. You give them a new toy and they're like, this is cool. I want the next one. Bring on the next one that's got shinier lights. Or number 3, uncover deep emotions, truly deep emotions. We don't talk about the superficial stuff anymore. And in order to uncover deep emotions, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. The first question is, how have your emotions been affecting your faith? How have your emotions been affecting the things that you believe in? Your emotions. Have you experienced anxiety? Have you experienced fear, jealousy, thought of lack? Have you experienced feeling like you've been cheated upon or taken advantage of? Are you feeling like you're maybe depressed? It's another emotion. Have you ever felt that maybe things are not possible or overwhelming? Like, evaluate that. If that's an emotion you're feeling, then you're not going to take action in those emotions. Those emotions are very dark places, very difficult to do anything. Now, there's a other side of those emotions, really powerful emotions. These are things I learned from Dr. Terry Wager, his emotional intelligence training that he used to run. There is a whole other side of excitement, right? Oh my God, pride, right? They say pride comes before the fall. Shit, but you climbed first, didn't you? Let's go climb. We'll deal with the fall later. If we don't pay attention, pride could come before the fall. But if we're focused on pride and gratitude, right, powerful emotion and awareness, then there is no need for a fall, right? Like, that's just saying like, hey, if you climb a tree, you're gonna fall. There's a chance. Well, there's a chance. But if I climb the tree, I might also get the cat that's out of the tree. We're catching this? I might also get the apple up there, right? So am I going to stop doing great things just because there may be a fall on the other side? No. I'll dust myself off. I'll go back up that tree again. I got things to prove. I got things to do. Number 2, who in your life needs you to deepen your faith so that you can help them navigate through their deep emotions? Remember, we're not the only ones in this game. This whole money thing is about our families, right? It's about our friends. It's about being able to support other people. For some of you, you're like me. You want to build a community and have a whole bunch of people out there doing some great things because you recognize you can. You recognize that, hey, whoa, God gave me this ability to talk. God gave me this ability to have a lot of money. And maybe I could actually do something even greater than just beyond myself. Remember what I was talking about earlier about money, millionaires. You can make a lot of money by yourself, 100,000 a year by yourself. Unless you're in California like Manny, that's like pretty much everybody makes 100,000. Or you're broke. Yeah, 100's broke, right, Manny? It's not enough to get by. And so, right?
Yeah, 100,000 is actually just a bare minimum now. So because everything's so freaking expensive here, so
yeah, you make 100,000 at McDonald's.
More than that.
I agree, brother. And it's not just New York, like not just California. New York is getting like this. Miami is getting like this. So our gauge for what money is not accurate. If you're believing 50 or 40 is okay, it may be in your area, maybe where you're at. And it used to be okay for me too, because that's where I was at. But once I shifted and realized like all of this stuff is just how many people am I willing to commit to? That's all it is. How deep am I willing to commit? By the way, depth of faith falls in line with depth of conviction, depth of commitment to other people. You could commit to one person, but if you committed all the way and that person was a billionaire, you're going to be a billionaire. Does that make sense? Ask any billionaire how much his wife makes, right? We're seeing this. Depth of conviction, depth of commitment can go a very far way. So cultivating deep relationships. Number 4, for getting a steadiness of faith. Growing up, the relationships I tended to build were based on convenience. Maybe you were the same way. Having fun, encouraging each other to do whatever we wanted, and feeling no guilt about it. Anybody else grow up like that? It was just like, hey, whatever, we'll just do our thing. This was satisfying for a little while, but secretly I felt lonely and insecure and ashamed of how I was living. I knew I needed to change. In fact, We have people in the room here that I was speaking to last week. By the way, we're at Generator Biz Bootcamp here in Providence, Rhode Island, which is close to Boston. We're hanging out with 45 of our alchemists in the room. They're not on the call right now because they're with Dr. Terry Wager. The people in that room, I was talking to a few of them, and one of the challenges, they were asking about how to raise capital. Who here would like to raise capital? A lot of money, a lot of money. Like in 1 week, you'd like to raise 150,000 in a week. That'd be cool, right? So I was asked that question yesterday. How do I raise 150,000 this week? And I told him, I said, well, you have to have a deep enough relationship with one person or 3 people or 4 people or 5 people, however low you're willing to go, a deep enough relationship and experience so that they trust you. And I told him, I said, like, how many people actually trust you? Could you call right now who would give you money? And he said, I don't know anybody who would have that kind of money. I said, I bet you do. I bet you do know people that would have that kind of money, but you don't have a deep enough relationship where you feel comfortable asking them for that kind of money. And he said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, I know that you, and I used his name, but I'm not going to share you here. I said, I know that you, his names are important, by the way. They're very important. I know that you tend to have short relationships, shallow relationships. You don't ever want to commit to somebody because they might require you to do something. And so you want to just kind of just enough to kind of get in and get out and take, and then like you'll match, but you're not going to just give for the sake of giving because you believe that you don't have all this infinite energy that you keep giving. And he said, what? I don't believe that. That's not true. And I said, here's the other problem. Nobody knows that you invest in real estate. Nobody knows that you're the authority on real estate. He said, what do you mean? I said, I looked at your Facebook, man, and your Facebook doesn't say anything about real estate. I said, I could look at 10 posts and I guarantee you not all 10 are real estate related. And he said, well, no, I post about real estate. I was like, let's go right now. Pulled up the phone, pulled up Facebook. And wouldn't you know, the first post is about, you got to believe in yourself, mindset. And I told him, I was like, dude, you haven't earned mindset yet. You can't talk about mindset posts until you've been successful in something, because mindset posts just make you seem weak unless you're successful. Does that make sense? We're grasping this. If you post a mindset stuff, but you got no proof of like your mindset stuff works, it just makes you seem like, wow, that's a really emotional child who's thinking about mindset stuff. Who here's ever posted one of those and they didn't get a lot of likes? They didn't get a lot of views. They were just like, what the hell? It's because they haven't seen your success yet. You must position mindset with success. When you have positioned your experience, who you are, with success, then mindset's like, aha, that makes sense. I carried down through his posts and I was like, not real estate, 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 not real estate. And then one post, he's like, well, that's the 100 Millionaire Summit. That's the summit in October. Hits camera, by the way, if you're going to the 100 Millionaire Summit this year in October, hell yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be amazing. And it's going to be about real estate. And there's going to be a lot of millionaires in the room. Guess what? He didn't say anything about real estate in the post. So it's like you had all this opportunity. You know, you're going to be hanging with millionaires. You're going to be investing in real estate. There's going to be guys talking about how they own thousands of units. But you didn't put any of that in the post. All you said is, I'm going to this great success event. But you haven't had great success for anybody to want to model, for anybody to be like, wow, I should go there. Does this make sense? We're catching this. So he hadn't built the ability for people to trust him with money. And then all of his relationships are shallow. And by the way, when you're watching this later, if you end up watching this, I apologize for being so harsh at the time, but I hope it worked, because it's a effective requirement for you to look at yourself and go a little deeper in these relationships, right? Like, it's okay to feel insecure. It's okay to feel lonely, but you can change that by loving someone first. You don't have to, first you got to love yourself, right? The first person to love is right here, right? If you're feeling insecure, feeling lonely, if you're feeling like ashamed of the way you've treated people in the past, like, fall in love with yourself. Just a little forgiveness goes a long freaking way. Then I wake up every day, Dorita knows, I ask her in the morning, who do you love? And her first answer better be me. And I don't mean me, I mean her. She has to love herself. Right? Her answer has to be, I love myself. So the first answer is, you love yourself. Like, who do you love? I love me. So each one of you has to fall in love with whatever you got going, right? Be thankful and grateful for who you are today. Hence, Karen, if this is a fun experience, right? We're having a little fun here. All right. Experience deep love. Number 5, deep love. This is for steadfastness of faith. These are the principles, requirements in order to do this. Who is feeling already a little more faith in what you're doing? Is anybody feeling a little more faith in like where you're going, what you're doing? You're like, it feels a little lighter. It's like, I'll do this, when shit comes my way. All right, deep love. Here are 2 questions that you can ask yourself to get started. The first is, what acts of superficial love do you take security in? Superficial love. Things like your spouse says, I love you, you say, I love you back. It's not really, kind of like, you basically begged for that one. It's not a real I love you, right? It's like, yeah, love you back. With Doreen and I, if I say I love you, she says thank you. Listen to that. When I say I love you, she says thank you. Lets it land, lets it sit there. Now, obviously, she's not going to let me get one off on her without her eventually throwing a love you back to me. But She's not allowed to do it within that next couple of sentences. She's got to go and figure out a way to express love that isn't an immediate "I love you too." One of us says "I love you too." That's like, whoa, wait, wake up. What's going on? Your subconscious mind is talking to me instead of you talking to me. Hands to camera if you grasp that. All right. So what kind of other forms of superficial love have been finding and taking security and superficial love, not real love? And then what can you do today to deepen the love with your friends? This is for people who are just, getting new to this. What can you do to deepen the love with your family, with your kids, with your spouse? What can you do to deepen the love with your friends? Just, ask the question to yourself. What is something you could do to deepen the love? Remember, these wealth principles, they're not designed to be easy. This one is, can be a little woo-woo, right? People watching this right now are like, dude, what the hell is he talking about faith for when he said it's a millionaire call? I apologize. Faith is required. If you don't believe in yourself, you won't get to the next level. I'm telling you right now, like if you don't have the absolute awareness that you are the greatest, that you are the only person who was given this mission to build the empire you're building, your very unique portfolio, your very unique business in your very unique location, it won't work. Right? You have to know that you are the one. You have to know that you're here for a reason. You have to understand that there is nobody else who's going to show up and do it the way you would do it. There's nobody else going to make sure that the money goes into the businesses or the funds or the vacations or the colleges or the causes that you would put it in. Who here donates money? Has anybody ever donated money or time to some sort of cause? Anybody else going to do that for you? No, I guarantee you they won't. I guarantee you, like if I have some speaking to do tomorrow, I'm doing this speaking right here. If I didn't show up, nobody would. There is nobody who would come out here and manifest these 52 weeks if I didn't write them down, if I didn't document. Now, we are getting to the point where I could, at any point, ask any one of the 12 celebrity coaches, would you cover me this week? And if I have gotten to that point, yes. But do they do it the way I do it? It's just one of those things. Your special sauce. What you bring to your business. Now, I'm not saying do the work. What I am saying is do the work. Do the right thing, the right way, at the right time. Have the conversation with your team. Build a team. Inspire a team. Work with people. Share your business with others. Create space for them in your business. I've said this before. Believe that you're the one who is designed to create jobs, to create opportunities, to create deals out of nothing, right? Most of what we do, the deals that we create, we created them. They were on the market or they were in front of other investors, but we came in with a little bit of a different angle and said, would you like this? I'm listening to your problems and I'm going to give you this solution because it matches. It looks the same. It looks like an actual fit. Whereas other investors are like, well, this is all I do. It's my little box. And this was their problem. Hence, Karen, if you can be a little different, you can provide for your clients, for the people who are looking for your support. Absolutely. A little differently. There is a book of the week every week. So the book of the week is The Wealthy Gardener. Anybody ever read The Wealthy Gardener? Know anything about the book? Awesome. So The Wealthy Gardener is a book that was written by John Saforic because it's not about just making money quickly. It's about doing the steps over and over, doing the little things, planting the garden and making sure that you show up every day. The Wealthy Gardener has impacted my life in such a positive way that I had no choice but to leave it into the 52 Weeks of Wealth. The book reveals revelational knowledge of lessons on prosperity through the use of fictional characters, along with the life stories of the author's own experiences. Through his use of the Wealthy Gardener's practical principles, I can say that with absolute certainty, I have gained my own financial freedom. So this is, I'm just going to say it's fun, right? We'll make this probably one of the easiest books you've ever read. It's story, fun, but it's practical. Kind of like Richest Man of Babylon, but not with all the old English language. The Wealthy Gardener, read it this week. It doesn't take long to read it. It's a fun one. Listen to Audible. That is the book of the week. The wealth principle for next week is Wealth Principle 28. Learn to love dealing with large amounts of money and the people who have it. This wealth principle is going to deal with an emotional issue inside of all of us where we get a little intimidated talking to rich people. We get a little scared to offer our services or expand our services to what they're asking for. Ask me how I know. I have my entire life reached up and recognized that they want more than I was ready and willing to give at the time. They want, rich people aren't looking to learn about stuff. They want full service, full done. Just where do I sign the check? You're going to accomplish the task. So we're going to talk about how to emotionally have more conversations with rich people. By the way, hands can if you want more rich people in your life and have great conversations with them. Okay. You're gonna have to fall in love with rich people. And I'm going to show you how to do that next week in Wealth Principle 28. Cheers to success. When you have a choice, always work with the best.